What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jason with JCS Reefing, and in this video I'm going to show you how I plumbed the Innovative Marine 200 gallon EXT. Now if you're new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell to get alerted for future videos on this build. Now, starting off, I'm going to say that this is extremely overkill. You definitely do not need to do this with any of your plumbing, but I chose to paint the parts, and I used gray for some of the 90-degree angles, as they will match some of the unions that I have here. Basically just masked off the parts that I wanted to glue, that way it doesn't affect anything when gluing, as well as the pipes that I did that are going to be the vertical and horizontal pipes for the plumbing. Now, like I said, this is extremely overkill. You can also buy plumbing and parts that are basically already pre-colored and you do not need to paint, or you can just use straight up white PVC. Now, once I had the 3 drains plumbed, basically this is an external overflow, so you have a main drain starting on the right, a secondary drain starting in the middle, and then an emergency drain starting on the left. Now, as far as the returns, there are 2 returns, one 3/4 inch on the right side and one 3/4 inch on the left side on the back glass of this tank. Now, as far as the return plumbing, I'm going to dry fit everything, which is as you can see here, and then it's basically going to go into one return pump. So as the return pump comes up, it's going to go over, it's going to tee off, go to the right side, and then go to the left side. Now, as far as the ball valves, I put the ball valves on here to restrict the flow on the right side. Since the pump is closer to the right side of the tank, I think I will need to restrict that flow down, but we will see. Now, once everything was dry fitted, I basically, just pretty much glued all your pieces together. Now, for myself, I personally use Fusion, which is a clear primer and glue or cement all in one. I glue both sides of the pieces, push them in up to the connection points, twist a little bit, and then hold in place for a few seconds. Now, you can use rubbing alcohol to kind of clean up any messes on the countertops or wherever you're doing this project, as well as kind of wiping down the PVC if needed. So for the ball valves, I went with the True Union or the double union, which have really good seals. I got these off of plumbingsupplyhouse.com, which they kind of give you a little bit of a discount over some of your local plumbing shops. So what I like about these valves basically is they give you a little bit more leeway to play around if you have any errors. So as you can see, you're going to have the bulkhead that's going to be glued once I put that into the tank, and then the bottoms are going to go from the left and the right side of the return pump, as you can see here. Once again, the True Union kind of lets you, pivot some of the joints if needed, or move the valves to one side or the other, depending on the space that you may need. Now, once everything was dry fitted, I went ahead and put the bulkheads in and glued in the return sections, as you can see here. Basically, it just comes up, goes to the right side, and comes over to the left side, and then goes into the 3/4 inch bulkheads. The ball valves allow me to restrict any flow if needed. Basically, I just want to try to get the same amount of flow coming out of the right side of the tank as well as coming out of the left side of the tank. Is this absolutely necessary? Most likely, probably not. The main drain is not there yet because the gate valve is still currently being ran, as well as the return pump on my old tank. But for now, I'm just going to leave that closed and use the secondary drain to kind of test out the plumbing. So to test it out, I just basically used a C-tray pump I had laying around, restricted the right side a bit just to kind of get some of the flow equal on the left and the right side, like I stated previously. And as you can see, I didn't have any leaks, which is always a good thing. If you do see leaks on any type of unions, be sure that that rubber gasket or that seal is in there, because I have made that mistake. And they can fall out sometimes and not notice, and you put all the unions together and then you got a leak. So some of the paint did need to be touched up, but once I had all of the plumbing in and no leaks, the next step was to try to get some of the water in the tank. So to do this, I figured I had to do water changes on my previous tank. So every time I did a water change, I would basically move that water over into the new tank, simply being to save some RODI filters and not have to put brand new water in here. This tank still needs to kind of go through a cycle type deal. So once I started using some of that water, I made sure that the tank was not leaning front to back or left and right. And over the course of maybe 2 or 3 water changes, I had the tank about, not quite, but just about halfway full. So I decided to put some of the rock that's been soaking in my garage for months and months into the tank, drop the RODI line in, and top off with salt to get it to 1.025, 1.026 as needed. And this kind of just helped out to get some water going. Now, as far as the tank, this is the first tank I've ever had with an aluminum stand. So as you can see, I wasn't too sure on this wiggling that it kind of did, but I did contact Innovative Marine, and they sent me this video of a tank in their display room gallery, and their tank actually does the exact same thing. So they did assure me that this is a common thing, that it does have a little bit more flex than a wooden stand. But for myself, my own peace of mind, what I did is I actually 3D printed some brackets that will go onto the stand using T-nuts and then into the wall via hollow wall anchors, or trying to get the studs in the wall. Now, I didn't make these 100% infill. These are only 20% infill or even 15% infill. So God forbid if this tank ever were to come forward or crash, they would not rip the wall down with it. They would break. So once the plumbing was completed, this is pretty much what I got. And I basically just got some Q-tips and touched up some of the paint. I did leave a spot where I can always tee in to put a manifold if I need to. Like I said, this is where I'm at right now. A little disclaimer, yes, the tank is running, but I will be having future videos and we will get up to speed on that in the future. So yeah, this is what it looks like. You can see the bracket that goes into the wall, helps stop some of the shimmy with the tank stand. So let me know what y'all think. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and happy reefing. Cheers.